good, horror? This is your boy Horror Gamer, back with another video for you. And what's the video today? Damn it. This is the movie review of boom, Leprechaun Origins. So, with such cinematic greatness at hand, where does your boy Horror Gamer begin? Well, this movie was produced by the WWE, because they're known for putting out great quality movies. You can sense the sarcasm, man. This movie was, oh god. But that, I'll get to it. Basically, this movie starts off. This sees two people running through this field of tall grass in Ireland. Okay, screaming, girls crying. God, they're trying to get to this thing. Okay. There's this rock. Okay, because there's this rock, and it's sticking up in the ground. It kind of looked like somebody picked up a dried turd, a gigantic dried turd, and jammed it in and that's gonna stop the leprechaun. This dried turd. So they're running through the tall grass, okay, because it's not scary enough that you're being chased by a leprechaun, but let's do it so we can't see him, because that makes a lot of sense. Let's not see the leprechaun. Let's just run through the tall grass. Yeah, because that makes the most sense out of all this. Okay, you're in for a treat. Whoa. Okay, so they're running through the tall grass. Boom, the guy gets hit. Gets dragged away. That's the last time you see him. And the girl's almost there. She can fucking taste it. She's so close. And bang. Leprechaun gets her. Or, let me rephrase that. The monster gets her, because let me tell you something. What the fuck this was not a leprechaun. This was a monster. I will not call this thing a leprechaun the whole time in this review. The monster is what it's going to be called. Okay? So, then it says Leprechaun Origins. And then it goes to the next scene where these group of kids, well, I don't know if they're kids. They're like older teenagers, maybe young adults. They're getting this ride into town, and the guy stops at this giant turd in the ground, and he's like, I'm not going any further. It's down the road a ways. There's a village, so they pay him, and they walk, through the grass, and they get to this little pub. Let me tell you something. What I will say about this movie, and now I'm going to be truthful. I'm going to have a legit review. The scenery is just fucking beautiful. It's the bright greens, and it's just, Ireland is a beautiful place. I mean, I've never been there in person, but what I've seen of it, it's such a beautiful landscape, like the blue waters and the green grass, and it's just amazing. Okay, so anyway, these kids or whatever, they go into this pub. And they're sitting there, they're drinking, having a good time. And then some of the locals come up and start talking to them. This is about, there's this cabin in the woods they can stay in overnight because there's no openings in the inn or whatever. So they're like, yeah, they take a vote and they decide to do it. So they go into this cabin, and here's the thing. Okay, you meet this guy. He's very friendly. He's saying about how much, the town's struggling. But my man's is rocking a gold Rolex. Red flag number one. Okay? The village looks poor and shitty, but my man's walking around with a gold Rolex. And they make, you know what I'm saying? They point that out a little bit in this movie, which is, I'm glad they kind of did the make sense part of it. So, they drive into this cabin. They get to this cabin, okay? Red flag number two. when you get to a cabin and it is deadbolt locked from the outside, you do not go into the inside. What the fuck are you thinking? You do not go into a cabin that can be locked from the outside where you can't get out. Where is the common sense in that? You have the common sense to point out a gold Rolex, but you don't have the common sense to say, I'm not going in there. But, that's another thing, yeah. Okay, they're kids, they're dumb, they're drunk. And then while they're unlocking the 5 fucking locks that they have on this door to lock it from the outside, the monster comes in the high grass, but you can't see him. You can only see the grass moving. So my man grabs a double-barrel sawed-off shotgun from the back seat that nobody saw and takes a couple shots at him. And he's like, oh, it's wild boars. Okay, well, that's a believable story. Wild boars, you didn't see what it was, so you scared off the wild boars. So these kids go in there, nightfall comes. One guy's reading his medical book or whatever, which I guess to him is sexual kryptonite, because his beautiful girlfriend is sitting there damn near naked, begging for it, asking him, have you thought about me coming with you, or something like that. I guess he's going somewhere and she wants to go with him, and he's reading this book and he's like, I'd miss you. Like, what? Why would you say that? Why wouldn't you be like, yeah, I thought about it and I want you to come? It's your girlfriend, man. She's sitting there in her bra and panties, basically begging you to come with you to wherever you're going, but you're reading a book, a medical book. Good for you. And then this next dude, okay, now see, this guy I actually like, okay. The one guy in this movie, he also played in Freddy vs. Jason. He was the guy's best friend, the main character's best friend, whose brother died. Freddy killed his brother, and he's a pretty good actor. I really enjoy some of the movies he's in. So for me, when I first saw it, there was a slight possibility of greatness because he was in it, but that quickly faded. But anyway, he was kind of like the comic relief kind of deal. So him and his girlfriend get ready to get it on. You know what I'm saying? They're kissing, hugging, loving. But see, he had too much to drink, and he started to pass out with the beer in his hand, and she's all pissed, and yada, really, you know what I'm saying? He's like, whoa, what, babe? Like, all like, blah, and then they go to sleep, and that's just funny, okay? So as the night progresses, the girl starts hearing something outside the house. So she goes out, and she sees like this thing run across the thing, like out of the corner of her eye, kind of like a blur, kind of poof, and she starts screaming and hollering. So she wakes everybody up, and they look, they say there's nothing, and then the boyfriend said, well, you know what, I'm going to go out and check because she seems really distraught about it. So he goes to open the door to go out and look, and surprise, it's fucking locked from the outside. Why would you go into a building where the door can be locked from the outside? So they're trapped in this house. Barred windows, you're locked in. And there's a monster outside chasing you. Okay, so the monster goes in through the trap door that's in the that's in the fireplace. And I mean, it goes in there and it starts wreaking havoc. The girl sits down, the one who saw him sits down by the fireplace. He reaches out, yanks her fucking gold earring out and rips her ear off, like the bottom of her ear off, and they're screaming, she's crying, and it starts chasing them around the house, you know what I'm saying? Flipping tables, chasing them into the room, and in there, like, against the thing, trying to hold it back. And then it gets into the room, and they flip the bed over on it, and then they try to get out, and they go out through the back door. And as they're going out through the back door, the cool guy, one who got drunk and passed out before he's getting ready to bang his girl, it tears his leg up really bad. Okay. And he's like laying there, and they're starting to run and stuff, and they get to the main road and they take off. Well, he falls, and the dude who was reading the book and the cool guy's girlfriend, keep fucking running. They leave him there. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So the guy who's reading the book's girlfriend comes, throws the lantern at the I'm sorry, I almost said it. Throws the lantern at the monster, and it like chases it away because apparently it sees in infrared, so anything bright really like chases it away. So they go into this other house, and they're in there, and they decide, you know what, we're gonna go in the basement. And then they find this book, and on this the thing that said looked like a turtle on this rock had some engravings in it, and they find this book in the basement, and it says what the engravings mean, and it says some kind of weird thing, and then in the most cinematically terrible way, she says the name, and then she said it in Celtic, I think, and then they're like, what does that mean? And in the most cinematically just dramatic, crappiest way, she's like, it means leprechaun. Like, no, it doesn't mean leprechaun, because what the fuck's out there is not a leprechaun. It's a monster. Get shit right. But they're still trying to tell the story of the gold and everything else. And so they're trying to figure out what's going on. So they figure it out that these people who led them to this place tried to steal the leprechaun's gold in this gold mine. And now the leprechaun basically is holding them hostage until they repay the debt. Who knows how long that debt is? Well, so the guy from the bar who had the Rolex comes down with this double barrel, holding him hostage or whatever, and then the guy, he's with his son and another guy, and him and his son are in the basement. All of a sudden, they hear gunfire going off upstairs, so he runs up to check it out, and the guy who's with the leprechaun just basically murders. So he's looking for the leprechaun, the monster. He's looking for the monster, and his son doesn't believe in this. So his son basically lets him go, okay? So they're running, and then they're running on the road, and then a car pulls up, and it's the cool old lady from the bar that they met that she got them pints or whatever. So they get into the car with her. She drives down the road a little bit. She stops. And she's like, y'all stay here, you know, blah, blah, blah. I gotta check something out. Well, she gets out of the car, and then the doors are locked. And here comes the guy and his son, and yeah. So what ensues next is probably the worst cinematic fight scene I've ever seen in my life. 4-on-2. Basically because the old woman just sits back, but the guy takes a swing with a pipe. Or a crowbar. A pipe, it was a pipe. And dude blocks. Okay, so the guy who's got his leg hurt, okay, I get that. But they do nothing. They just struggle a little bit, and the fight's over. Because the girl hits the old lady hits the girl from behind with the flashlight, knocks her out. So, switch to the next scene. They're tied to a tree. And all of a sudden, the monster comes out and starts taking the gold off them that these people put on them, I guess, because the leprechaun can smell gold or whatever. And the monster grabs the girl by the tongue ring and yanks her fucking tongue ring out. And then the cool guy is sitting there screaming, get the fuck out of here, get away from me. He was cool. He made it a little interesting. So the monster comes and just takes a swipe at him and cuts him deep. Like I'm talking about slashes across the stomach, and he's just in a bad way. But he manages to get up, and the guy's like, oh no, don't leave us, blah, blah, blah. You know, the guy with the book. I'm going to say he's got a book, he's an idiot. He's like, oh no, don't leave us. And so the guy comes back after being slashed and got his leg tore up with a machete and cuts these people free. And then the leprechaun gets him. And then as they're running away, the same guy who was begging my mans not to leave them leaves my dude. Asshole. So, you know, they're running, they go back. Okay, so the cool guy's dead now. At this point, it's the two girls and the one sexually kryptonite science fucking medical guy. They run back to the cabin. that they were just in that locks from the outside. They run back into that cabin. Okay. Now this part coming up, I will admit, is probably the best part of the movie. So they're gonna set a trap for the leprechaun or whatever, or the monster, and they're gonna have him come back in through the fireplace, and then they're gonna, hit him with the axe and everything. So the girls outside are under the house, and I guess she's being used as bait. Well, they're sitting there waiting for the monster to come through the fireplace. All of a sudden, the monster grabs the one girl and puts her in. And without even looking, they just take blind swings. And they hit the girl right in the fucking face with the axe. Just done. And then the other girl starting to scream and cry, because she was the one who actually hit her with the death blow. She's, oh my God. And so the monster pulls the girl out, and then they run out to go into the Jeep and drive away. And there's no keys, of course, because who leaves keys in their car? But they thought they were going to go in and get keys. Well, they go into this Jeep thing, and the and the monster is chasing them and like punching through the windows and stuff, And the guy who he killed earlier is still laying there, and the keys are on him. So the man in this situation lets the woman go out and grab the keys, because he's brave. He's one of the bravest guys I know. Well, he ends up getting his, okay? So they basically, long story short, they get the keys, they get ready to make it to the rock, to be safe, because for some reason, they have induced that if they go to a certain point, the monster stops chasing them. So they get there and they go, and, my man's the brave dude, he ends up getting, So, she's there, and then you get that epic last scene, and they get to the rock, and the final girl, lays the final blow to the leprechaun. She cuts its head off, and everything's fine and beautiful, and yeah. So that is basically, in a nutshell, what happens in this movie. I'm sorry if I spoiled it for you, but unless you're doing a review on it like me, don't watch it. Okay, I'm sorry, but your boy Horror Gamer gives any movie at least one shot. This Leprechaun movie, I had to give a couple shots. Now, I will say this, okay? I will say this. Is it a terrible monster movie? No, it's not a terrible monster movie. Is it a terrible leprechaun movie? Let me answer that with this. Does a bear shit in the woods? As a Leprechaun movie, this sucked. This is not Leprechaun. Like I said in my Leprechaun review video, you do not do that, okay? Just because WWE, you have a character that you've created from a little person who you dress up in green and have them trot around the ring like a leprechaun, that doesn't make them a leprechaun. And for you to even think it was an okay idea to release what you released and called it Leprechaun, like I could have seen if you gave him a personality, like they did with Warwick Davis. Had him talk. He didn't even growl. He growled. That was all he did. He didn't even talk. He didn't even look like a damn leprechaun. That's what I'm saying. If it would have been some kind of other title, like, I don't know, St. Patrick's Day Massacre or some stupid shit like that, probably wouldn't have been a bad movie. But to call it Leprechaun and put the franchise out there and give us that is terrible. Like I said, if it was a regular monster movie, it would have been pretty decent. It would have been a pretty decent film. But because you grabbed the title Leprechaun. You took the franchise and you thought in your infinite wisdom that you were going to rebuild a franchise off of that after the franchise was already good with what it had. There was one questionable movie in the original franchise that I enjoyed. Everybody said how bad Leprechaun in Space was. I didn't think it was that bad. Yeah, it was a little cheesy. Yeah, the special effects were not on point, but it wasn't a bad movie. This was a fucking bad movie. I would watch Leprechaun in Space 8 times, back to back to back to back to back to back to back, then watch this Leprechaun movie again. This movie was shitty. And you should be ashamed of yourself for releasing that into the world. But that's not here nor there. Just your boy Horror Gamer gives Leprechaun Origins a big fat 0. If I could give it a negative number, I would. Don't watch this movie if you don't have to. Don't buy this movie if you don't have to. Don't shit. The only reason I own Leprechaun Origins is because it came with the other ones in the Leprechaun pack. That's the only reason I own Leprechaun Origins. If I didn't have to own it, I wouldn't own it. So, with all that being said, Eric, I hope you enjoyed the review, buddy. This one's for you. I don't do this for everybody. You my boy, though. So, thank you for this. I appreciate that. Don't worry, I got you, buddy. I'm gonna figure one out. Don't worry, I got you. Yeah. And if you haven't checked him out yet, his YouTube channel is Hey Internet Eric here. Definitely check him out. Great content. On point with all his videos. Really enjoy them. He does unboxing videos. He does, retrospective videos. He has Leprechaun retrospective videos out. He has Nightmare on Elm Street retrospectives. Halloween. Right? He has all of them for all the main horror ones. He has, and it's not all horror. He doesn't do all horror. So that's a good thing for a lot of you who aren't horror fans or horror gamers. But so yeah, definitely go check out his channel. And the next couple rounds in the March Murder Madness are being filmed as we speak. So definitely look out for that. And until next time, I hope y'all enjoyed this review. Like I said, if you absolutely get the chance to watch Leprechaun Origins, don't do it. It's not worth it. Okay? That's like an hour and a half of your life that you ain't ever gonna get back. So, but anyway, I love you guys so much. Thank you for the continued support. Eric, you the man. Love your channel. Keep up the good work, my friend. And until next time, this has been your boy Horror Gamer saying, as always, don't fear the darkness. Embrace it. And don't watch Leprechaun Origins.